Hello students, today we are going to discuss the introduction of structural analysis. Now we had bifurcated the structural analysis into 7 chapters. First one is indeterminacy and determinacy. 9 questions had been asked in the last 10 years whose weightage is 10 marks in GATE exam. Similarly, from the trusses, 14 questions had been asked in the last 10 years whose weightage is 22 marks. Similarly, from the method of structural analysis, 10 questions had been asked whose weightage is 18 marks, and from the influence line diagram, 5 questions had been asked and its weightage is 9 marks. So, determinacy, indeterminacy, trusses, method of structural analysis and the influence line diagram will be the very important chapter from the structural analysis as per the GATE point of view. Okay. Now from the arches, 2 questions had been asked in the last 10 years whose weightage is only 3 marks. From the matrix method of structural analysis, only 1 question had been asked whose weightage is 1 marks, and from the structural dynamics, only 2 questions had been asked whose weightage is 3 marks. Okay. Now the year-wise weightage of marks of structural analysis is shown in this graph, that in 2010 only 3 marks question had been asked. In 2011 and 2012 no question had been asked from the structural analysis. Similarly in 2013 7 marks question will be asked, and similarly in 2020 4 marks question had been asked from the structural analysis. So at an average basis 4 to 5 marks of question had been asked from the structural analysis topic or from the structural analysis subject in the GATE exam. Okay. Now what are the reference book which we are going to use in the structural analysis subject? First one is the theory of structure by S.S. Bhavikatti. Second one is the theory of structure by B.C. Punmiya, and third one is the theory of structure by S. Ramarutham. Okay. Now introduction. What is structure? Structure is the combination for channeling of loads that are resulted from presence and use of building in relation to the ground. It means that we need to use any structure for the channelization of the load. Okay. Now from the slab the load is transferred to the beam. From the beam the load is transferred to the column. From the column the load is transferred to the footing, and from the footing finally the load is transferred to the subgrade soil or subsoil. Okay. Now this is the channelization of load from top to bottom. Okay. Now, what are the various classification of structure? The first classification of structure is on the basis of geometry. Now, on the basis of geometry, we had classified the structure into 3 parts. First one is the skeleton structure, second one is the surface structure, and third one is the solid structure. Now, what is skeleton structure? Skeleton structure is that type of structure in which only one dimension is predominant. It means that in skeleton structure only one dimension is predominant and the other 2 dimensions are negligible. In case of building frame as well as in case of strut, only one dimension is predominant and other 2 dimensions are negligible. Okay. Now in this building frame, for this beam only length is predominant as compared to its width and depth, and for the column only height will be predominant as compared to its length and width. So it is a skeleton structure. Okay. Now what is surface structure? In skeleton structure only one dimension is predominant, but in surface structure 2 dimensions are predominant and one dimension is negligible. For example, slab, load bearing walls. Now this is a slab. Now for this slab length and width are predominant. Length and width are predominant as compared to its thickness. So it is known as surface structure. Similarly, for the load bearing wall, height and length is predominant as compared to its thickness or as compared to its width. Okay. Now that load bearing wall is also a surface structure. Okay. Now what is solid structure? In the skeleton structure only one dimension is predominant. In surface structure only 2 dimension is predominant, but in solid structure 3 dimensions are predominant. For example, massive foundation or machine foundation. Okay. Now for the machine foundation, length, width and depth, all the three dimensions are predominant. Okay, now for the foundation or piers of bridges, height, length and its width, all the dimensions are predominant. That's why we called it as solid structure. Okay, now what are the classification on the basis of stiffness? On the basis of stiffness, we had classified the structure into two types. First one is the rigid structure, second one is the flexible structure. Now what is rigid structure? Structure which do not undergo large deformation is known as rigid structure. Example, stone masonry, steel beams and columns. Okay, now here I had shown a stone masonry which is an example of rigid structure. Now next one is the flexible structure. What is flexible structure? Structure which can undergo large deformation under the load, then that structure is known as flexible structure. And what are the various examples of flexible structure? First one is the suspended cable bridge, next one is the wooden structure, etc. Now in the diagram we had shown a wooden structure here which is a best example of flexible structure. Clear to all? Now after studying the structure and its classification, our topic arises, that is, what do you mean by structural analysis? Okay, now the analysis is the process of understanding the basic behavior of a structure in terms of its response to the use. It means that we need to understand the basic behavior of a structure when it is subjected to various types of loading. Now during the structural analysis, following steps needs to be considered. What are the following steps? The first one is the identify the loading. We need to identify the load, that whether the load is point load or whether the load is uniformly distributed load or uniformly varying load, etc. Okay, now the next one is the determination of support reaction. It means that the external reaction. Now when the structure is subjected to a loading, we need to calculate the external reaction, that is reaction at support. This reaction is known as external reaction. Okay, so we need to identify the loading first. After that we need to identify the support reaction. After finding the support reaction, suppose that there is a beam. After finding the support reaction, we will be able to determine the bending moment, shear force as well as axial forces. Okay, now these forces are known as internal reactive forces or the internal reaction. It means that after finding the support reaction, we need to determine the internal reactive force. Now after determining the internal reactive force, we need to check the adequacy of the member, whether the member is adequate or not. Suppose that the bending moment which is coming on the structure, that is the actual bending moment, will be greater than the bending moment which we had used for the designing of that beam. Okay, now if the actual bending moment will be greater than the bending moment which we had used for the designing purpose, then the structure will be inadequate. Okay, so after finding the support reaction and internal reactive force, we need to check the adequacy of the member. Clear to all? Now we need to discuss the types of support and its reaction. Now what is reaction? Resistance against a displacement is known as reaction. It means that if we want to displace that body like this, then it will give reaction like this. So resistance against displacement is known as reaction. Now if we want to rotate this beam like this, now this beam will give a moment of resistance like this. This is known as moment of resistance. Now the resistance against rotation is known as moment of resistance. Clear to all? Now what are the various types of support which we are going to use in our structure? The first one is the fixed support. Now at fixed support, we generally have three reactions, that is in vertical direction, horizontal direction and in moment of resistance form. It means that we don't allow any vertical displacement, horizontal displacement or any type of rotation. It means that we have degree of freedom equals to 0 because we had not provided any type of displacement in any direction. Clear to all? Now in the fixed support we have three reactions, that is moment, horizontal reaction and vertical reaction. Now at hinge support we generally allow the rotation of that beam. Okay, we generally allow the rotation at the hinge support. So at the hinge support, moment will be equals to 0. That's why the degree of freedom will be equals to 1, that is moment is equals to 0. Now at the hinge support we have only two reactions, that is vertical reaction and horizontal reaction, to resist or to restrain the vertical and horizontal displacement. Okay, so at hinge support we have only two reaction, that is horizontal and vertical reaction. Now at roller support we allow the roller support to move freely in the vertical direction as well as to rotate freely. So movement will be equals to 0 and horizontal reaction will be equals to 0. That's why degree of freedom will be 2, that is movement equals to 0 and horizontal reaction will be equals to 0. And at roller support we have only one reaction in vertical direction which restrains the vertical displacement. That's why reaction will be equals to 1 only, that is the vertical reaction. Clear to all? Now the another type of support is the guided roller. Now what is guided roller? If we restrain the rotation at the roller support, then that support will be known as guided roller. Now suppose that we have vertical guided roller. Now if we have vertical guided roller, we generally allow the vertical displacement to be gone through or to be done freely. Okay, that's why the degree of freedom will be equals to 1, that is only the vertical reaction. It means that vertical reaction will be equals to 0 in case of vertical guided roller. Now in vertical guided roller we have only two reactions, that is the horizontal reaction as well as the moment of resistance. So we generally don't allow any type of rotation as well as horizontal displacement in the vertical guided roller. That's why the reaction is 2, that is moment and horizontal reaction. Now if the guided roller will be provided in horizontal direction, then we allow the horizontal displacement here. That's why the degree of freedom will be equals to 1, that is horizontal reaction will be equals to 0. And we restrain the rotation and vertical displacement. That's why there will be two reactions only, that is moment of resistance as well as the vertical reaction. So the reaction will be equals to 2, that is moment and vertical reaction. Clear to all? Now the next support is the simple support. At simple support we only restrain the vertical displacement. That's why reaction is only one, that is the vertical reaction, and we don't restrain the horizontal displacement as well as rotation. So the degree of freedom will be equals to 2, that is horizontal and movement. It means that horizontal reaction will be equals to 0 and movement is also equals to 0. That is all about the introduction of structural analysis. Okay students, thank you very much.